Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, has confirmed in a press statement in Lassa, Ikeja, that the state has recorded the first case of Lassa fever in 2020. He says the patient, who is from a Ebonyi state from the southeast of the country, is a student at the Nigerian Law School, who is currently in isolation at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, and that's LUTH. About 27 states have reported this year alone of having cases of Lassa fever. Now, while over 470 cases have been confirmed and 70 deaths recorded across the country.
When the economy of Lagos was threatened with a near shutdown, when we were in a position where we could have had a major outbreak of what we call pathogens of high consequence. In other words, it's not like, an outbreak. It's not like a situation where you're getting people with cough and catarrh. You're getting people who are being infected by a pathogen or a microbe for which there is a chance that the person may become significantly ill, require prolonged hospitalization, and there's a chance that they may die. And that this pathogen is contagious, can be spread easily from one person to another, either by waterborne means or by airborne, and for which there is either no treatment or limited treatment and no vaccination. So in other words, we don't have a way of interrupting the outcome of the outbreak other than trying to isolate people. So there are a number of such pathogens. We call them high consequence, like the hemorrhagic fevers, which are Ebola, Lassa fever, dengue, yellow fever, Marburg. Then you have your influenzas, which can be seasonal influenza or epidemic influenza. And then you have things like coronavirus, for which we've had 2 global outbreaks. One was called SARS and one was called MERS. And now we have COVID-19. So it's part of the coronavirus family. Now, all these pathogens of high consequence, they come from the environment. So they come from the wildlife or the environment in which we live.
Well, that's the Commissioner for Health in Lagos State, Professor Akin Abayomi. The good news is that Lassa fever virus can be treated if detected early. So you have to detect early, you have to show up early. It does have the symptoms of other viruses, including the Ebola virus, but it's not as deadly, again, because it can be treated. So Lagos has recorded that first index case from Ebonyi State. The government also says 63 contacts are being monitored. But we need to stress that the people also have to play their role, and that's about personal and environmental hygiene. Now, the primary host of Lassa fever is rats.
The mammillary rats, specifically the rat with a lot of mammillary glands. That's the rat that harbors Lassa fever.
And then you can have human-to-human transmission as well. So while you need to keep your food safe away from droplets of the rats, you should also be careful sharing sweats, handshakes. Make sure you wash your hands regularly, and then keep it.
Just the full Ebola gamut. You know, while we had Ebola, all hemorrhagic fever, but we can do well. We did well with Ebola. We became a celebratory point all over Africa.
I think it's an important note to also stress, like you said, early detection is very important. If, as a patient or as a person, you're beginning to feel feverish or feel a certain way, don't just assume it's malaria or typhoid. Please go and check and make sure that you don't have Lassa fever. Well, moving on, the Eko City Farmers Markets, a platform where the best of Lagos farmers meets with consumers and end users by using the traditional and innovative methods to showcase a well-organized, high-quality market begins.
According to him, the market will help the rebuilding of local food economies by providing cost-effective retail sales prospect for local food producers in Lagos State and across Southwest states.
Now, the farmers market basically aims to promote farm to fork, providing Lagosians with access to a wide variety of fresh, local in-season farm produce direct from the farmers, and that's by eliminating middlemen or cartels by the market associations. I guess a lot of people are not happy with this development, but we'll find out soon.
Well, joining us now to shed more light on this agricultural green angle is the Lagos State Commissioner for Agriculture, Mr. Gbolahan Lawal. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I mean, now, this is a very interesting development. I, myself, I love farmers markets. Every time I'm out of the country, I always go to one. The fact that you could, meet with these farmers personally, you see this fresh product. So, as it stands now, what is the current development? Why was it important for you to do this now?
Thank you very much, and I want to appreciate you for giving us this opportunity to let Lagosians and indeed Nigerians know what we're coming up with. On assumption of office in August, I won't had the opportunity of being the Commissioner for Agriculture for 4 years and SSA for 2 years, 6 years in the agri space before I moved to another Ministry of Housing. Now, when I came back, I decided to have, with my other colleagues, that we should have a stakeholders engagement, a summit with the farmers, for us to even understand what their constraints are, the challenges, before we even say, okay, this is what we want to do. So we had it on the 11th of September, 2019. At the end of that summit, the conclusion was that aside from what you are doing, our farmers still require a better platform for marketing, access to market. And we decided, okay, how do we go about it? At that summit, we agreed, okay, let's even engage more stakeholders. At the end of like about 15 meetings with all the stakeholders in the fisheries value chain, red meat value chain, produce value chain, we all agreed that, okay, let's even have a farmer's mart that will be able to reform the agricultural supply chain. That is exactly what brought about the initiative, the new Eko City Farmers Market. And I'm very happy about those pictures you showed earlier. Those were the mats that we had when I was in that ministry. I mean, it was my first project. We had 5 of them. Okay. But we also plan to scale up. But how many people can go to Surulere? How many people will come to Lassa? Those are specific, community farmers market, just like the cooperative foods that we have in England, as you mentioned. But the Eko City Farmers Market will give us the opportunity whereby more farmers will come in, more consumers will come in, and people that also want to, the end users will also come in. So we will bring the linkages together. And at the end of the day, we will be able to reduce poverty.
So there's an intersection of produce. That's very good. Fresh food for people to be able to buy. That's very good.
Yeah.
But one other part will be even, what are you doing to ensure that those farms are up and running? Yeah. How is it like planting in Lagos State with the topography, with the land, equation of Lagos, with the kind of soil we have? How can we effectively feed Lagos in Lagos? And I'll give you an instance. A lot of the pineapples that we eat in Lagos are from Benin Republic, just around the corner. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I will allow you to land.
Yeah. So how can we ensure that we grow this produce in Lagos?
Thank you very much. Lagos State is the smallest state in Nigeria. Lagos has 22% of its land as water. So in terms of arable land, we are not strong. It's not our own area of comparative or competitive advantages. So our focus is intensive farming. Intensive in the sense that where you need smaller space and you get better yield by using poultry, fisheries, of course, you can take that, aquaculture, vegetable.
Instead of aquatic splendor.
Piggery. Yeah. We also do some form of arable crops. Then we also do
what
rice.
What arable crop does Lagos do?
With cassava.
Okay.
We also do rice. Yeah. I mean, when we have started a lot of work. We also went around for about 2.5 weeks to get the baseline report. We went to 17 of our estate and farm settlements. There are 6 farm settlements and 11 farm estates. Estates in form of the value chain. We have poultry estate only for poultry products or poultry farming. We have fisheries estate only for fisheries, from production, primary production, to the value addition, probably processing. So in the report, the baseline survey that we did, a lot of our farmers, these are the challenges we're having. Oh, internal roads from farm to the main road. Then we also need water infrastructure. Those are the challenges. But as of today, Lagos is producing 18% of what we consume. So our self-sufficiency level in food is 18%. 18%. Of course, in aquaculture or fisheries is huge. That is our area of core competence, especially our artisanal fishermen. For poultry, we are doing extremely well. Piggery, we are #1 in Nigeria.
For piggery?
We are #1 in Nigeria. So if you say Lagos, oh, what are you producing? I'm telling you. But if you look at it again, we have come up with the value chain initiative. That is from primary production, from input to primary production, to upstream, midstream, and downstream. Downstream is the market end that we're talking about, or even the processing. That's the downstream. So in those areas, the downstream sector, we are very strong, and which is where the farmer's mart belongs. Okay. Whatever you produce, if you don't have market, you'll be at the mercy of middlemen.
Okay. In 2016, former Governor Akinwumi Ambode said Lagos residents or Lagosians spend 3 billion naira on food items daily. That alone indicates the market Lagos affords you for agri-produce. But I wonder just how important is agribusiness for this administration, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration. And I would like to take you up on LASG, the joint venture between Lagos and Kebbi State. We had that LASG Agricultural Production and Marketing Company, the special purpose vehicle for that joint venture I talked about. It was not only for lake rice, interestingly. A lot of people, there's so much focus on lake rice, and that's why I want to bring it up. The focus then was for it to have value chains with emphasis on rice, wheat, beef, onion, sorghum, and so much more. Why are we focusing on just rice? And what has become of that joint venture between Lagos State and Kebbi State? We'll go on a break in about 30 seconds. I don't know if you want to start to answer that and then I interrupt you, or you just want to think about it. Do that. Let's just go to break so I don't interrupt your line of thought. You're still watching the Morning Show here on the Rise News. Please join us again. Welcome back to the Morning Show here on the Rise News. And we still have with us the Lagos State Commissioner for Agriculture, Gbolahan Lawal. Thank you so much for staying with us. So I asked you those questions before the break. Let me just quickly refresh the minds of our viewers who are just joining us. I was asking about the LASG, the joint venture between Lagos and Kebbi State, which the focus was beyond rice, but we seem to place so much emphasis on rice, and as well as the focus of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration as regards agriculture, because former Governor Akinwumi Ambode told us in Lagos State, as at 2016, we spend 3 billion naira on food daily.
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing the landscape. The agreement still, the agreement still subsists. We are still together. The landscape corporate entity still exists. Rice is a staple food in Nigeria and Lagos. So if you say it's only rice, you heard of. You always is okay. We also have onions. This market that we're talking about is a way of bringing regional integration together. I'm sure you are aware that the Southwest states will also have their days. Lagos Ogun Day, Lagos Ekiti Day. That is starting from May. It's a way of taking a lot of people out of the poverty trap. The target is the bottom of the pyramid people must intervene. There must be some social intervention from the government, and Agric has that capacity. Now, going to the policy of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, we have a 5-year roadmap, which has at its core ensuring that the strategy that we're going to deploy must be citizens-friendly. That is why we initiated the Eko City Farmers Markets. Aside from that, we have capacity building for 15,000 youth and women. we have started, as I'm talking to you, we have a program, Lagos Agripreneurship Program. The target is to train 15,000 youth and women in the next 4 years. If you go to Araga, you see them, they commence training on Monday. 200, 2,000 every year. That's youth and women. We also have a scheme for executive programs in 3 other locations. Mowo in Badagry, Okova Farm Service Center, Mowo Farm Service Center, Badagry, and our, what we call Lagos Food Production Center, that's Songa in Badagry. It's a 250 hectares of land, all geared towards ensuring that Lagos scale the food production or food self-sufficiency level. We are intervening in 16 of our farm estates and farm settlements, ensuring that they have a capacity to scale up their production, to enhance their productivity. We are also partnering with the World Bank on APIS, that is agro-processing productivity enhancement for livelihood support for youth, women, and people that are already existing in the agri-space. So those are the programs that we have. Don't forget that we also initiated red meat value chain reform. Coming to the Lassa fever, we are working. We have started the ratification project. What we call ratification is not a rat. Okay. It's the process whereby we try to derat our markets, so that we don't get ourselves infected.
I quickly want to talk about this. Access to finance is another thing. Yeah. I don't know if you can just add that to the question.
Yeah, right? Access to finance is also part of what we're doing for those that we have trained. Because it's agri, it's not something that we want to ensure that we give you that entrepreneurial skill. We also let you focus. Oh, what do you want to focus on? Is poultry, is aquaculture, is rice. Don't forget that we have a rice mill. Our rice mill is in Malta, 32 metric tons. With that rice mill, you need to have at least 20,000 people on the farm involved in the primary production. Then the rice mill will create 256,000 jobs, directly and indirectly.
Is it creating that
what about
job now?
No, currently we have people in the production because the idea is we buy paddy. Then we also have letters of allocation letters from some of our southwest states. 2,000 letters from Ondo. Osun also have 1,000 for us. We are talking with Ogun State. We once had 500 letters at Egua, but we want to scale that up. So what we are doing in Lagos, we understand, we know our limitations. We want to see how Lagos can provide the safety net for farmers across the country. We have agreement with Kebbi, as you know. Kwara, we are going to sign another memorandum of understanding. I had a meeting with Niger team in Abuja. Then the Benin people are also talking to us for yam. So we in Lagos, we understand where we have shortfalls.
I'd like to quickly come in here because, I mean, we've spoken about this farmers market being a focus on fresh produce and definitely the trade and barter between the farmers and the consumers. Yeah. But I'm curious to know if there's been any infrastructure put in place. Last year alone, Nigerians wasted about $750 million on food. And this is a country that has 100 million people living in poverty. So after the Eko Farmers Market, is there a structure put in place for these markets?
Thank you for that very, very interesting question, which we have solution for. And the solution is, monthly we're going to be having Eko City Farmers Market. Sundays, the location is TBS. Moving from, if you are on BRT, you can connect. It's easy for everyone to connect. Now, we are going to have what we call Lagos Agricultural Wholesale Market. Okay. That is where whatever you're bringing, you bring them to the market. And we have I think, 100 hectares of land in the Malta, not too far from the Malta rice mill. With that in place, for retail, for distribution, and for people that want to export it. So we will have cold chain so that we will reduce service losses that we normally encounter. We are in discussion with African Development Bank. We are in discussion with some other banks. Even my governor and the governor of Central Bank are in discussion. Our Southwest states are also working together with the Development Agenda for Western Nigeria, Dawn Commission, to see how we can come together and make Lagos State a commercial hub for whatever that is coming. That will also let us have traceability, because what is coming in, we need to have a structured market. So that is what that wholesale market will do, and that is what Eko City Market will also provide.
Wholesome foods.
Yes.
Last Sunday of every month.
Yes, please.
TBS.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Commissioner, for coming on the show this morning.